Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play series. I have some surprises for you. And I mean actual surprises. You like that zoom? Pretty cool, right? Firstly, before I go and show you these surprises, I just want to say a massive thank you for your patience while I've been doing my exams and stuff at uni. They're all done now, so I've got this whole summer, other than placement of course, to working on videos, and I'm super excited to be making some awesome content for you guys in the future, and especially over this summer. It's going to be awesome. And you might be like, what surprises are you referring to? What could this be? Shall I show you? Are you ready for these surprises? There's going to be a lot of things changing in this series where I'm going to be doing more building and less gathering, especially the materials that I've got bulk of, as you can see behind me in all these barrels. But trust me guys, this series is about to get tons better. Anyway, you've waited long enough. Let's show you the surprises. So the first one is underneath me. I sorted out my storage room. I've kind of revamped it a little bit. Ignore the chest there, that's temporary. It's not really meant to be there. It's just there for convenience, I guess. But this is the new storage room floor. I just didn't like what we had originally, and it was a bit of an inconvenience when placing shulker boxes. So I wanted to have more of a floor that I could, obviously, put crafting tables in. I'm still a little bit unsure, but they'll do for now, right? It looks quite nice. So yeah, this interior right here is completely finished. The storage layout is practically the same. But the floor is all, solid blocks, so I can place. So there's no carpet or path blocks or anything in here now, so it's just, I can place whatever I want on these. Then the next interior is, of course, the long overdue Super Smelter room. This is the interior for the Super Smelter. I did install the Wandering Trader data pack that's on Vanilla Tweaks, which is why we have these mini blocks, and I do have quite a few of these stored up while I've been playing off camera in between me doing my revision. So that is all good, and then obviously I've not really finished this. It's just a work in progress. I've not really done anything to it. It's just, this is where I can get all the items and input all the items, and then this is just the smelter room with some ores ready to go in and some extra storage if we need it. Then the next interior, my long-awaited starter house upstairs is finally complete. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. I was like, I know for a fact I needed an office, so I did this little cool chair thing with a book where I can do all my to-do lists and stuff for this world, and we have a map of the world right now, and there's actually a little spoiler for the third thing that I'm going to show you on this map. I wonder if you guys can see it. I'm moving a little bit too quick here, so you can't fully focus, but there is a surprise, and we're going to go and visit that right now. I just want to say a massive shout out to Antlerboy that's given up his time to help me with building and terraforming, because honestly he's got just under 10,000 subscribers and he has one of the most underrated survival series that you'll ever see in your life. I honestly recommend going and checking him out. As a good guy, good friend of mine now. He's helped me a lot with building tips and terraforming and stuff, and I've practically watched his series in between doing his revision as well. Honestly, a fantastic series. Definitely go and check him out. I'll leave him down below, but he has helped me teach me terraforming and quite rightly inspired me to do custom terrain, and that is what we have started doing over yeah, I know, this is crazy, isn't it? This is what we started doing over here. I started by outlining this area where I wanted a path going up, and I decided I want it to go up either side because I'm probably going to do some custom terrain over there, and then I'm going to do some over here as well. And he's honestly taught me a lot about terraforming, and this was done before he taught me. It was always a talk thing that we was going to do custom terraforming, and he was going to teach me stuff. And honestly, what a guy. I have high respect for him. He grinds survival like crazy, and he runs a second channel as well, which isn't even Minecraft, which is quite crazy as well. Yeah, he's a magician. Maybe not a magician, more like a wizard, a building wizard. Yeah, one of those. So yeah, this looks absolutely phenomenal so far. Obviously, this custom terrain thing, I just didn't like that. I started really having a disconnect with the terrain that we was working with. So my idea is, let me just get a vantage point on top of my windmill right here. Can I land it? Here we go. Okay, so my idea is we're going to have these kind of cliffs somewhat going all the way around, and I'm thinking maybe transitioning it off to go down and still use the ocean, or I might do my own custom terrain over this to then go down to the ocean later on, because I do want some form of docks or harbour or something later down the line, and I think round this way is probably going to be a good spot. But yeah, I'm trying to get some custom terraining because I want to eventually build my own village and build my own castle on top of a mountain. I want to do all sorts of stuff. I've got loads of things in mind for this series and the plans and stuff, but honestly, I mean, I'm going to do more streams as well, so rather than me doing a bunch of stuff, quote, in quotation marks, off camera, I'm gonna move my streams to YouTube for you, so you can catch the off-camera stuff, and you'll be able to see me doing my replay mod time lapses live. So that's going to be an interesting change. I just need to fully move everything over because I'm going to have to go into Stream Elements and switch all the overlays to YouTube stuff. So that is the plan. But yeah, eventually, rather than relocating my farms over to the Mushroom Island, I'm just going to leave them under here because they're going to be well hidden. And I didn't really want them to be here as an aesthetic thing, which is why I was going to move them over to the Mushroom Island in the first place. But now they're going to be under my terrain anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I don't have to relocate them. I'm just building over them, which is very convenient. For those that want to build their custom terrain, I'm going to do something here that is... You might be wondering how on earth I've done this and the stuff that I've been taught from Antler. So I'm going to demonstrate something here a little bit. And let me just get some... Yeah, I've used a lot of resources, as you can see. This was all dirt and all stone. Let me just switch that out for this. So I've done these right here as like a skeleton. This is what's called the terrain skeleton. I think that's what most people refer to it as. But what I would do is I used to work in straight lines, and he taught me to work via diagonals to try and get more of a natural curve. And then another thing he taught me is rather than doing another diagonal to meet in the middle of these two here, I work diagonally from these two. So I'll go from here to there, and then here to there, and then essentially just fill in the gaps. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, and let me just get this first line in. In fact, I'm probably going to start over this way just because it might be easier to demonstrate. Yeah, let's start over here, and then I will demonstrate it on this bit and fill this bit in for you guys. So while I'm doing this, I'm trying to give a bit of an in and out shape here, but one thing that he taught me is to have an incline rather than a cliff overhanging like I did with this over here. So one thing he taught me was to go back and then go up. And then let's have another look there and maybe go up one block, and then let's do a straight line back. Probably a bit too tall, so let's go back one here, and then let's go sideways like this, and then back and sideways, and it connects like that. So essentially, if I use free cam here, I've got a diagonal going from here up to there. And then it's just a case of connecting these and then filling them in. And one thing that he uses quite a lot, which I found really interesting, is because he works with his current terrain at the moment anyway. I'm just going to do a demonstration here. So obviously these you don't want to be too tall. This is probably the tallest I would go with the cliffs. So let's say I want to do a cliff here. I can go... This is a really weird glitch. I don't know if it's Optifine or whatever. It keeps happening. So just ignore it. Let's say I want to do a cliff here, and let's say I want to do some terrain here. So then I'm going to start going up only gradually like this, and then we're going to slope it up, and then we're going to get it a bit steeper like that, and then we can start going like this, and then moving it around like that. And if I fly down, you should be able to see, if you was to connect this to something, how it would look. You'd have a cliff face, bit of terrain along the sides, cliff face right there. That is quite an interesting tip that he taught me. I was only doing the stone. I, before, would have gone up from stone, up to stone, but now I've just gone from stone to dirt to stone, and it just gives a bit of variation, and it looks quite good. Once it's connected, it doesn't look good in this state, but you get what I mean. So yeah, this is going to be the longest project I will have ever taken on in Minecraft entirely. Like, this is going to take up so many resources and so many blocks, but it's going to be good. Another thing that I have in mind is, as you know, I've got the greenhouse right here. I'm just taking you guys through my plans at the moment so you know what to expect. And this isn't really much of a, I'm going to do this and that in this episode. This is more of a, I'm back. This is what I've done, and this is where I'm heading. Yeah, I've got this greenhouse right here, which is like a plant house. I'm thinking once these cliffs are in, having some kind of underground section, either going down in the terrain or even under the mountains as a whole, that will lead me to the farms. In fact, you know what? I've just come up with a better idea. I have the farms under the terrain anyway, so I literally could just use the Minecraft generated terrain as the farming area, of like the farms that I want to hide. Essentially, the ones that I don't want to have on show, if that makes sense. And then the other issue that I'm going to have to try and tackle at some point is this. This is amazing. I really like that build and how it came out. I can't remember what episode I did it on, but how am I going to move this on the new custom terrain? Am I going to build over this area? This is a thing that I'm going to have to try and work out, and I guess the only way to answer that is to try and visualize how I'm going to have it, which is quite difficult. I've not got the eye for it yet, but I'm definitely getting there for sure. And I might still change this a little bit here. I think this bit's a bit flat. I might bring the dirt up. In fact, you know what? Let's do that now. So just to make it look like it's not as flat, I could literally just bring up the dirt onto the stony bits here. And obviously, once the grass grows, yeah, look, it transitions from the stone to the dirt very nicely, actually. So let's keep doing a bit of this, mixture placing. Yeah, this looks tons better. It's like a transition, I like it. In some areas, I think it's okay to have a bit of a harsher transition, like we could keep it here. I'm just thinking for this big area, it might be worth even bringing this out a bit more, like this. Yeah, this is just me experimenting, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of realism of how these two would merge in real life. And then obviously I'm trying to... That's probably a bit too tall. I wanted that one to go there. And then maybe... I'm just messing around. Look, this is sort of what I'm doing. I'm trying to create natural shapes, and that looks good. And this is actually... Before I even decided to take on this project, I was like, this is going to be the most tedious thing I've ever done. But in actual fact, it's one of the most satisfying things I've ever done in Minecraft. It's building your own terrain. Like, the idea sounds boring and tedious, but in reality, when you see things come together and look good, it's so satisfying. It's actually amazing. But yeah, also another thing that I'm going to do for those that have been waiting for this series to return, I'm going to be introducing, I don't know what to call it yet, but somewhat of like a comment of the episode or question of the episode or something. That kind of concept, you've probably seen some YouTubers do it from time to time, where they've done a comment question and they've answered it, or they've done a comment and they've featured it. I'm not entirely sure, but if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I might even pick you for the next episode. Who knows? I could always choose one right now from a previous episode, but I figured if I'm going to start it as a new thing now, let's get some new questions and new comments in. So leave your questions down below for the next episode. I do apologize again, this is a bit of a short one. Like I said before, this is more of what I've done and what I've been up to in between me doing revision and focusing on exams. But honestly, I'm so glad to be back. I miss this world. I can't wait to see this world progress, and I'm extremely, extremely excited. But until then, we will see what you guys say in the comments and what you guys think, and any ideas that you guys have for this world, I'll happily take them in the comments too, because who knows, that might make it onto my ideas list. But yeah, like I said, apologies again for the short episode, and we will be back in full swing for the next one, and that is a promise, and I can't wait. If you guys want, we'll do some terraforming too in the next episode, just to show you. I might actually just start filling these in and trying to work with what I've got as a skeleton, and then it might be easier to better visualize where I want to go from there. Also, shout out to Daisy as well for the new skin. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. Or even being on Name MC. If you're in my Discord, you'd have noticed what my new skin is. I've had a change in hoodie. It's pretty cool, right? I've got rid of the hoodie on the back. I've got more of a waffle. No jokes in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit, and goodbye.